Hi everyone, welcome back. I have special guest with me, Richy from NGH Resurrected. How are you doing, Richy?
I'm all right. How are you?
Not too bad. This is a long time coming for us. Being like
Yeah,
well, I can't say face to face, but I guess video to video.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
We've had a few chats on like Messenger and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
been the first time we've actually like had a proper conversation, isn't it? Like on
Yeah.
video.
On video, we had many, yeah, like you said, through Messenger or just going through other stuff too. Messenger collabed on TikTok.
Yeah,
You look really warm right now though.
I am. I'm red hot. Um, my lass has got the heating on. It's boiling.
I was So I'm just gonna just go on something personal. You do not, and I hope you don't mind me saying this. You do not look like you should be a grandpa.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm too young to be a grandpa, but things happen. It's blessing that's just going to be coming into the world. So, yeah, I'm 41.
You- yeah, when I saw that you posted on TikTok, I was like, I don't believe this, but
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It's just happy in a relationship, so bless them both, and bless all three of them, and
Oh yeah, yes.
I can't wait to meet her. I can't wait to meet her.
When is she? When is she due?
She's due in the summer. I think the 27th of July, something like that.
Okay.
So yeah.
So what got you started into the paranormal?
What happened was, I've always been intrigued with the paranormal since I was a child. At boarding school, because I went to a boarding school, you see, for bad lads, because I got expelled from every school around here. So I went to boarding school, and I read a book called The Enfield Poltergeist.
Yeah.
And when I read the book about the Enfield Poltergeist, it got us intrigued in spirits and stuff like that. And there was my first experience of a paranormal was at this boarding school. Now, there was five of us in a room, and I've been reading the book, and imaginations when you're a child, you think everything's like real. So, anyways, I was like reading it, and I fell asleep, and it was about 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. The door started rattling, and so like I woke up and it stopped. So, anyways, I put it down to my imagination. So
Mhm.
when about 10 minutes later, I shut my eyes. But I don't know if I had my eyes proper shut properly, but I seen this big black mass come from the middle of the room, and it started forming, and then all of a sudden it walked towards the door of the dome and opened it. So and it went into the hallway and then looked at us. So I got out of bed and I walked towards the door, and it was walking down the hallway, and I thought, what, I think it's someone, playing silly buggers.
Right.
So anyways, it walked through the wall. So that was my first experience as a child for the paranormal. Um, so I got into it. I retired from boxing. I was just sitting around doing nothing. I was getting social anxiety. I was getting anxiety. I just wanted to do something, as a hobby.
Mhm.
And me and my friend, we have a few Guinnesses, and we started talking about Aidan, and Warren, how good they were, how they were like Ghostbusters, the original Ghostbusters,
Yeah.
stuff like that. So I say to someone, says, why don't we not start one ghost hunting group? Let's see if it gangs anywhere. So he was right up with it, and first hunt, I got all the equipment and stuff, and my first hunt, I was like, yeah, I'm really, there's not really happening, but when you're doing your first hunt, you want something to happen, don't you? You really want something to happen. So, anyways, second hunt, stuff started happening, and I started getting really intrigued in it, and I loved it. I've loved it ever since. I've been earning off for 5 years, so I've really enjoyed what I'm doing.
Yeah, you can tell that with because you post on your TikTok a lot of your evidence.
Yeah, it's just like evidence I've caught over like the past 5 years. Um, you like you see a lot of frauds and stuff, faking
Yeah,
the paranormal because it's so easy to fake the paranormal. That's why people choose to fake it, so that they get all the followers, all the views, all the money and stuff like that. Well, us paranormal teams didn't really get the recognition that we deserve.
yeah. We were saying before that we see a lot of people who's been in a paranormal for a while leaving the paranormal just because of how many people nowadays are just faking their evidence, which makes people who actually do it for real come forward. I mean, it makes it harder for us to break through that because no one wants our fake evidence. It's not as good looking as obviously the fake evidence or as clear as the fake evidence. And real paranormal investigators are looking at that stuff and we're just like, but that is so fake. I don't understand why so many people think that's real.
Exactly, and that's why we're getting called frauds. That's why we're getting called fakes because, they think that the fakes are real, and our stuff is fake. But they didn't realize the amount of effort that we've had to put in for to get this sort of evidence. People have been in it 10 years, and they're getting like orbs and stuff like that, and some people are lucky, that they're getting the evidence that they are when they're just first starting off and stuff like that. And I think it's amazing some of the stuff that people are catching now.
Yeah. You have some videos on TikTok that I enjoy. Where you're making fun of some of the fake stuff on there and how obviously fake it is, and it always just made me laugh when I first saw you do it.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, they're making a mockery of us. So why can we not make a mockery of them? So
Yeah.
my point is, if they can make us look like a laughing stock, I'll make them look like a laughing stock.
Yeah, no, that's a good point because that's just how I feel like a lot of it is, and it's hard to go investigating with anyone just because they don't have the realistic expectations because they made to watch something on TV or see all the fake evidence people are getting. I'm like, it's not. It's a lot of sit around and wait. I wish ghosts just come out on commands. I wish we got clear evidence really we could tell right away, but it's just it does not happen like that.
It's like when people comment on my stuff, oh, you took that with a Nokia 3310. Hold on, mate. I'll ask them next time to stand still while I take a selfie with them, you know what I mean? It doesn't work like that. If
Yeah.
they want to show themselves, they will. If they want to communicate with you, they will. We can't force them to do anything. At the end of the day, we're lucky if we get communications or pictures or videos or stuff like that, so
Yes.
we're blessed to what we've got. And that's
Mhm.
why I get so angry at these fakes because they're using fishing wire, they're using rope, they're using technology. And well, we're not, we're actually doing
Yeah.
it live on TikTok or Facebook or something like that. And we're all getting the hate. And it's really, really bad at the minute on TikTok. The drama is absolutely unreal. It's getting worse.
Yeah. It definitely is getting worse, and the worst part is a lot of those fakes are getting famous because some of the people you pointed out are just obviously fakes. They have so many followers, so many likes, and I'm just like, this is outrageous.
Yeah, exactly. We put time and effort. We put money into what we're doing.
Yeah.
A lot of money that goes into the paranormal equipment and stuff like that. And people didn't realize that we're investing in ourselves as well as the public by
Mhm.
doing these hunts and investing in toys and equipment and stuff like that. And some people aren't appreciative of what we do.
Right. Yeah. So what has been your favorite place to explore, to investigate?
Oh, wow. Me personally, I like graveyards. Um, you know, I've had a lot of good experiences in graveyards, and I'm yet well, I've done houses and abandoned buildings and stuff, and I've done like the most hauntedest places in Britain. like the top two hauntedest places in Britain, and nothing happened in them. Now, when I went to an abandoned building, a lot of things happened because people normally go into abandoned buildings, graveyards, and they do rituals, like Ouija boards, witchcraft, stuff like that, they leave them open so anything can just get through, so.
Yeah,
And that's what I like. But when you're paying for like thousands and thousands of pounds for places that are supposed to be haunted and nothing happens, you
yeah,
you feel like you feel terrible because it's like you could have put petrol in the car and went to a really haunted abandoned building than pay like thousands of pounds for like a castle or a B&B or a haunted hotel and stuff like that, and nothing happens.
right.
And it's all about the money when it comes to saying, oh, my place is haunted. It's all about the money. That's all it is.
Oh yeah, I've been to a few locations where it's just, unfortunately, even if you pay some of the most haunted locations, doesn't mean the spirit in the most haunted locations will even want to interact with you. And it's just, it is what it is in this field. We wish every time we walked in there it's going to be active, but they kind of pick and choose who or when they want to be active. Sometimes they're just like, nah, I'm not feeling it today. And that's why people always go at different times. Is sometimes you get something, sometimes you get a lot, sometimes
Yeah,
it's,
absolutely. There's no time limit with the spirits. When people say like 3:30 in the morning and stuff like that. Fair enough, that's witching hour. But sometimes
yeah,
spirits rather, some will communicate for the day, some will communicate at night. So it's hit and miss. When it comes to communications.
definitely is. That's one place I also started out, is the graveyards. I don't feel like there should be any shame when people say they start in graveyards. I mean, you start where you have to start. Sometimes you have to do that because it's
Yeah.
free. Go in there, at least test your equipment, start getting it really down before you go to these haunted locations, compared to you trying to then walk in a location, figure out how to use your equipment, and you just really don't know how at that time, and then you're not catching maybe what you could have caught.
Yeah, exactly. Like graveyards, it's hit and miss. If they
It
want to
is.
communicate with you, they'll communicate with you. If they don't, then there's nothing you can do about it. It's up to them. They have no time limit. They have no limits. It's up to them what they do. We can't stop them. It's like when it's a
Yeah,
house phone, like a house phone. You can't you can't stop what's going on in your house because who's going to stop it?
yeah, yeah. I'm trying to find my co-host, but she's still not picking up. I'm like, okay. So anyone watching, I don't know where Irene is, but that's fine, because at least I know Richie well enough to. We're cool, so that's cool. Yeah. You also help people debunk evidence too.
Yes, because like I said, there's too many frauds out there, right? That are in it for the money, you know. So to debunk people, you've got to have, you could be in it 5 minutes, you could be in it years, but you know when it's actual spirits, what you're looking for in debunking things is fishing wire, which is the most common thing to use when people are doing paranormal.
Mhm.
Um, and it is hard to spot because people use distance for their advantage. So on a distance, it looks like there's nothing there. But when you zoom in, sometimes they blur the videos. So when you zoom in, you cannot see the fishing wire. It's very rare when you zoom in, when it's blurry, you see fishing wire. Now I've spotted it loads of times, so I know what I'm looking for. So when people say, can you debunk this? I'll look at the video, I'll analyze it, and then I'll say, right, look, I'll take a screenshot, I'll circle where I think where I see the fish and where something move, you know, and that's how people start saying, right, that's fake. But if it's genuine evidence, you kind of debunk it. If it's genuine, you just really can't debunk it.
Yeah, it does get a lot harder. harder though to debunk some of this stuff because people are starting to use AI. Sometimes AI is obviously so very is so very obviously fake, but sometimes AI is starting to get better at faking evidence where people are starting to say, yeah, a lot of these teams are just using AI to fake evidence, which is
Yeah,
sad. Pretty soon everything is going to be like AI generated.
yeah. If you think about it, right, in the next what 10 years, it's all going to be just about technology, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's starting to take over now, but in the next 10 years, th- it'll just be absolute madness. You know, you'll be able to. I think in the next 10 years, spirits will be walking amongst us properly. You know, that's what I think, anyways. But we'll wait and see. But at the end of the day, you know, when these fakes are starting to take over TikTok, take over Facebook and stuff like that, like Slapped Ham and Nuke 5, you know, they're showing fake stuff, you know. Everything they do, I can debunk. I can actually debunk, you know, and there's a lot on TikTok I can debunk. Big teams as well, you know. And it's like I don't want to debunk them for them to hate on me because I got a lot of hate for the debunking I do. You know, I don't understand. You want, you know, you're saying like you got a paranormal going on in the world. If you don't fake it, I can't debunk it. You know, and madness.
Yeah, so people also reach out to you. Like they can find you on your TikTok, obviously at NGH Resurrected. They can reach out to you, and if they needed to, they can also send you something to on WhatsApp. Compared to, obviously, I don't think you really can send photos on TikTok.
No, you can't same photos on TikTok. So like, if they want to reach out to us, and it's proper genuine, I'll give them
Hmm.
my number, you know, and then we'll go from there. But if I could debunk it, I wouldn't entertain it, you know. I like to see I like it when people say, "What is this?" You know, and it's actually genuine, you know, and it gets us excited because I love anything to do with the paranormal, anything to do with anything, you know, and I don't understand why these people would crush people's dreams in hopes that their loved ones are still around them, you know, other in out of pain and stuff like that, you know. And a lot of people reach out to these fakes and say, thank you very much. Now I know that my family members are safe and stuff like that. And then when they're being debunked, it breaks the hearts to know that these people are fakes.
Yeah. Have you ever came face with like you investigate somewhere and there's like an evil and its entity there?
Yes. I'll not get in too much into it because it was like a private one. So, anyways, um, went into this flat. A lot of things had been happening. You know, vivid dreams. The man was having. Um, he would be all right for the day, but once it come at night time, he would get into a trance and stuff like that. Now we went in. We'd done the investigation, and we had to take a demonologist with us, a
Mhm.
medium demonologist, and she picked up that it was a demon that was in the bathroom. Now, this demon was feeding off this family. You know, the negative. When you come across a demon, right, it feeds off your negative thoughts.
Mhm.
So when a demon attaches itself to you, you're constantly having negative thoughts, you know, you're constantly low and stuff like that because it attaches itself to you and it's draining your energy, and then you're getting the negative thoughts that you don't want to live and stuff like that, so it feeds off that and it makes it stronger. Now, when we went in, we encountered it. Now we the lady of the house. She was getting pushed down the stairs. She was getting scratched. You know, things was really happening there, and she reached out to her. So I went in, and I investigated it. Now, someone who has fits that don't um shut the door when they're having a bath. Now, this lady passed away in the bath, but the bathroom door was shut. So we thought it was her that was trapped in the flat. But when the medium demonologist come, she picked up that it wasn't her. It was actually a demon that was in the flat. Now, This couple had rented their flat out to someone else. Now, I think personally, this person that they rented the flat to has done a ritual in the house, trying to summons this girl from who died in the bath, and they've summoned something else. Now, this thing was playing with people's minds. It was actually I went in to do a sweep of the house, and make sure that it wasn't just the electricity levels and stuff like that. Just make sure that everything was normal. Now, I come away that day and I felt absolutely terrible. I went to sleep that night and I had horrible dreams. So whatever was in that flat had like come into my dreams and didn't want us to go on. Now I was getting told if I went in this flat and stuff like that in my dreams, I was gonna die. Right now, my family was gonna die and stuff like that. No, I could have just done a dream, like a dream, like a dream. When you dream of stuff like that, you don't think about it, but it played on my mind. I could remember it like it was playing a day because some dreams you can't remember, so I can
Right.
remember it. And I was telling her about this, like when I went back the next day because like went in one day, went in the next, and I was telling the medium demonologist, she says what it is because it knew that I was going to be bringing a demonologist medium with us, and she could get its name. Now, at first, I wouldn't give her the name of it. As soon as she got the name, we got rid of it. Now, think about this: 2 years later, it's back. Really, it's back as well. So, whatever it is, I think it's attached to the house.
Yeah, because a lot of people assume it'd probably also be like some people when they try and do that, they try and talk to a relative through either some kind of seance or a Ouija board. People forget that demons know more than you, so they obviously know what to say to kind of make you think, oh, this is grandma. Oh, this must have been this person. They know
Yeah,
things about the house. And
yeah.
it's just unfortunately, it's just them tricking you to kind of get your guard down. And that's why one thing I don't like Ouija boards is
I've never played a
you're never
one.
gonna be honest.
I won't play a pendulum, and I won't play a Ouija board.
So I used to do pendulum, especially when I was investigating. I used to do the whole pendulum thing, but then
Yeah,
I
yeah,
also realized sometimes they tell you what you want to hear, so I
yeah.
kind of stopped doing that because I'm just like, is this realistic, or are you just trying to tell me what I want to hear?
Exactly. They know what you want to hear, so they can off your thoughts. Because it's not just you speaking; they can gan off your thoughts as well, and it plays with your mind. And it can send people insane.
Yeah,
It can send people in mental hospitals and stuff like that. People don't realize the dangers of these sort of things that are happening. And spirits aren't human.
mhm,
They're not human anymore. They're spirits, so they can read your mind if you're scared or something like that. They can read it like they can read you like a book.
yeah. One thing I want to talk to a demonologist about when it comes to Ouija boards. I don't know if you've ever heard of. I want to say his name is Zozo.
So yes. Now I was watching the live a couple of weeks ago, and there was a team out, and they were doing a Ouija board, and he come through. So what he had to do is he had to search the board, he had to say a prayer and burn it because Zozo is the king of the Ouija board. Now that is a dangerous, dangerous spirit, very dangerous. Um, it's not. I'm not just getting off the films here, right? Now off the movies. I've known people that's come across Zozo and they've had attachments. Now his attachment is so bad. There's
Yeah.
no getting away from it either.
Yeah, is he do you think he's like is because I know people's only summon him in demons, so is he somehow attached to the Ouija board, or I wonder if
Um,
something
he,
happened got him
he,
attached to or summoned
he's
through.
so like right. You've got like the devil,
Yeah.
right? And then you got like other like his minions, right? So and then you've got Zozo, which is the demon of Ouija boards, and then
Mhm.
you've got other ones underneath Zozo. So it's like different levels of demons. But Zozo is very, very powerful. Very, very powerful. You know, there's a video on YouTube. If you type in poltergeist and angels,
Yeah.
there's a man actually does a Ouija board in his house, and all hell breaks loose. Tables flying, doors slamming against the door walls and stuff like that. Now that's one I do believe, because um, I've seen that sort of things happen with people having poltergeists in the house. But a poltergeist is a lower energy for people, or German for a noisy ghost. So the lower energy is just like a demon. You know, it's like people say, I've got a poltergeist. How do you know you got a poltergeist?
Yeah.
Because things are moving and things are getting thrown and stuff like that. Now, poltergeist, right? When they hoist stuff at you, it's generally gonna miss you. You know, it generally misses you. Now, when a demon hoists something at you, generally it's gonna hit you. So
Right.
when people say, "Oh, I've got a poltergeist in my house because things are moving, things are getting hit and stuff like that," now sometimes frustrated spirits, when they want to communicate with you, they'll move stuff, they'll hide stuff. You know, to say, "I'm in this house or I'm in this building," and you're not communicating with me. So I'm gonna put it in this terms. So just imagine you're on the phone call with your friend, right?
Mhm.
And at the other end, your friend puts the phone down and walks away from it. So you're still telling your story, but no one's there to answer you. So that's what I call a frustrated spirit. You know, that's my way of saying that's a frustrated spirit, anyways.
Right. To me, because I've read different things about him, and I guess it's just more of a how much he wants to kind of toy with you is what he kind of does at first. Sometimes people are just like straight off, he's just a nightmare. But then some people said like, oh, he's just harmless at first. He might do some tricks here and there, like open a door here and there, but then it's just one of those things where he kind of gradually gets into it. So I think it's just more my theory is how much he just kind of wants to toy with you at first. Because at first, if it's just small things, you're not going to think anything of it.
Yeah,
Well, it makes this
yeah.
until it goes into something bigger where you're just like, okay, I have to call an exorcist now.
You've got to really realize, right, when you're playing a Ouija board and stuff, you're opening yourself up to spirit, right? To say, come in. You're opening a different doorway to allow spirits come in to communicate with you. So when you're opening that doorway, you don't know what is going to come through that board, you know, or that pendulum, you know. So you just didn't realize what dangers you're playing with when you play with Ouija boards, because you can let anything in. There's no, you know, there is good spirits, you know, but also you're more prone to open up to bad spirits like demons and poltergeists and stuff like that. So you got to watch what you're doing when you're playing with stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely. And I know some people are just like, I don't believe in a Ouija board. They have nothing happen, but it's just, it's a hit, and it's like haunted locations. I feel like with Ouija boards, it's a hit and miss. Sometimes people want to come through. Sometimes they'll just like, I'll mess with you later, kind of thing. Or it's one of those things where maybe you didn't get a response on a Ouija board, but they're still kind of attached and following you.
Yeah. I mean, anything can get anything can get attachments, you know,
Yeah,
dollies, um, pennies, and stuff like that. You know, anything can get attachments. You know, and it's like when you're playing it in your house, where there's
yeah,
children and stuff. That's when the shit's gonna hit the fan, because children are more half in, half out. Anyways, you know, when a child says, "Oh, I've got an imaginary friend," you know, and
yeah,
his name's blah blah, believe it, because children don't know how to lie, you know. And people say, "Oh, you're a liar" and stuff like that. Children don't know how to lie at that age, you know, when they say they've got imaginary friends and stuff like that. Believe it. Actually believe it.
yeah. A lot of people assume it's just, oh, my kid has this wild imagination. Then you find out later someone by the name of their imaginary friend died at that location, and what they see is kind of like sometimes they'll just see something around their neck, and it turns out they got hung or something, and that's why, or whatever, however they died is what the kids ended up seeing, and they just that's like my worst nightmare though, is like when you hear a kid
Oh
say that I have
yeah.
an imaginary friend, and they just and you can't.
So some people actually capture the imaginary friend on pictures or baby monitors and stuff like that. And that's the stuff that you want to see, just to prove that your child's not lying. But like I say, when a child says they've got an imaginary friend, believe it. It's like I don't want to mention any names here, right? Because I don't want them triggered by what I'm about to say here, right? So
Yeah.
I'll say Jack, right? Jack and Jill lived in this house, right? And what happened was they moved in, they were doing wallpapering, and it started thundering and lightning. And so anyways, they went into the kitchen, they heard a bang, right? Now when they walked back into the sitting room, the wallpaper had come off the wall, had been ripped off the wall. So anyways, the thought out of it, they thought, the walls must be damp, so it's come off. So anyways, 2 weeks down the line, Jill was having a shower and she felt like there was something in the bathroom with her. Anyways, she tried to get out of the bathroom and the door was locked, right? The door was because they didn't have a lock on the door though, but Jill was trying to get out and she was shaking the door and nothing. So she put it down a sticky door. So, a sticky door, they're really hard to open, sticky doors. Or when they're swelled with the heat, they're hard to open. So, anyways, 2 weeks after that, Jill and Jack and Jill's daughter was saying there was a man in the corner of our room. So, anyways, they know, they put it down to their imagination and stuff like that. And about 2-3 days later, she woke up screaming. So Jack took her downstairs. Jack put her on the couch while Jack was in the kitchen having a smoke. And he heard the door slam against the wall. Now, when he says, I didn't think out of it, but he says I whacked in anyways, and Jack and Jill's daughter was levitating in the air, getting pulled towards the stairs. Now, he says when I grabbed her, he says it was like a tug of war with the child. He says whatever it was trying to drag her up the stairs. So, anyways, they got a medium in. The medium says it's dangerous. It's very, very dangerous. You need to move out of this house now. He says I can get rid of it, but it'll come back tenfold. So when he got rid of it, they just packed the house up and left, and they had no more experiences there. But and now someone else that lived in that house after them, and they were experiencing loads and loads of stuff in this house. Now I tried to get into this house because it is a poltergeist, and I've been trying to get into this house, but the landlord will not let us in to investigate it. But I would love to get into this house.
I know how you feel because out here in Japan, like when I came here from the United States, it was United States. I don't know how it is in the UK, but in the United States, you can pay to investigate places. Reach out to places that allow paranormal investigators just and pay to hold your spot for the night and be able to go in for the night. But out here in Japan, you hear about all these haunted locations, but they board them up and you can't go in. They won't give anyone permission just because they don't want to deal with the paranormal at all. Just because, like, even if it seems friendly, they're just like, I don't want to upset it. I'd rather not deal with it. I don't want to speak about it. I'd rather just board it up this way. No one can go in. So unfortunately, a lot of videos that you see from people who investigate places in Japan, what you find out later is they trespass to get in. Some places actually show. I'm not going to name the YouTuber, but there's a
Yeah,
YouTuber.
yeah.
There's a YouTuber who did a lot of places out here, and sometimes he'll show that he had to hide from the police. Which I'm like,
Wow.
I'm not willing to hide from the police. I'm not going to want to go to a location and try and hide from the police because if there's a chance I'm going to get arrested, I'd rather not.
Yeah.
Just because jail out here is different. Where here in Japan, they don't have to have a reason to lock you up if they really don't want to for up to 23 days. They don't have to have a just cause. They can just arrest you for no reason up to 23 days. And there has been
Wow.
moments where sometimes they have arrested for someone up to 23 days. I don't and I've heard this, and no one's told me the reason why this happened or what happened was the tourist came, they knew the person, whatever they did, the police arrest them for 23 days. Like, you don't have to be charged anything, nothing. Just arrested for 23 days. And then as soon as you walk out, there was a police officer waiting for them, and they rearrested them, put them back in there for another 23 days. So as soon as you step out of the police building, there's already someone there waiting to arrest you and put you back for the 23 days. They can do that over and over again until finally like your visa runs out. So you have to return to your country anyways.
Wow. It sounds absolutely. I love the fact of like the Japan culture and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think it's a beautiful country. You know, when you look at the videos and
Oh,
the
it is
pictures and
very
stuff,
beautiful.
beautiful. You know, it's absolutely beautiful. But my goal in life is I would love to get into the Conjuring House in America.
Yeah.
I would love to try that one day, but we've got like in Britain, East Drive. You heard of that? Third East Drive.
I think
Now
it
you pay a lot of money to get into it, right? Now I think it's just all hype. To be fair, now I'm not saying it's not haunted, but I think it's all hype. You know what I mean? Like, to make money off what they're seeing. You know, saying oh it's haunted and stuff like that. Now I think it's just all about the hype. Now if people have had experience there, whoever watches this, if they've had experience there, fair
yeah.
enough. But in my eyes, it's just all hype.
There's a lot of houses in America whose I feel like is a lot of hype too that I wish I
Yeah.
could believe in, but Conjuring House, I'm still skeptical on myself. Uh, Lizzie Borden's house, from what I heard, a lot of people said they've stayed nights there and they never got anything. So it's just I don't know if it's them or it's just a lot of hype. I've not really heard. I personally don't know a lot of people who's been there who've gotten anything. Now, if anyone's got anything to YouTube, I don't know. It could have been just something either they thought was paranormal, it's not.
Yeah, it's like um the Enfield poltergeist. Now that was the most well documented case in history.
Mhm.
And everything they got was raw footage. So everything Morris was documenting, it was all raw. Like the voice of Bill Wilkins, the activity that was going on in the house and stuff like that. But there's always one skeptic that tries to put brakes on it, you know? Doesn't
Yeah.
matter what you do in life, you've always got a skeptic. Oh, you know, you should have done it that way, or you should, you know, listen, what we do, we're not harming anyone. All we're doing is documenting the paranormal, you know, and this is why my TikTok block list is absolutely huge, you know, because people call all sorts of names, you know, and it's unfair, especially when you're doing it for free and you're entertaining people. Every single bit of equipment comes out of your own pocket just to entertain people, you know. And some people don't appreciate it, and some do. You know, I love my following on TikTok. I think some of them are absolutely fantastic. You know, the interactions on my lives and stuff like that. I love it. You know, and that's why I'm driven to do it again because I retired like for 2 years. I just packed it in. I had enough. There was too much. There was too much competition, you know, and it's like, why would someone want to be in a competition with you? At the end of the day, we're all in the same field. We're all there trying to prove that there is paranormal in the world. You know, there's no need for the nastiness. I mean, I had to change my name to NGH because another team I won't mention, what rhymed with my team name. And when we're round, I was trying to get into locations, you know, for to take my team, you know, and haunted hotels and stuff like that. Now, I phoned up a place where they were doing a charity event. They were selling tickets for like 25 to £30 a ticket for this charity event, saying that it was the most hauntedest place in around the Northumberland and stuff like that. So I says, you know what, guys, for a treat, I'm gonna treat her to this location, see if we can do it overnight and just enjoy the hunt. So I phoned up, you know what, then when I said, it's not even haunted. Nothing happens here. She says, really? She says, yes. She says, nothing happens here. Nothing. I says, but this other team are like advertising that it was like really haunted. She says, not even a cup moves, not even a tap drips. She says it's absolutely dead. There's nothing happens here. And in our people come the public to do public hunts and stuff like that now, it gives us a bad name. And then we were getting a bad name because of them, because we rhymed with them. So people thought that we were them. She says, no, no. So that's when I went, I'm changing my name to NGH. That's it.
That is absolutely that's absolutely horrible that that happened though. That
Mhm.
was it something that you found that was haunted? They just kind of came in and said this guy's full of crap, or
Uh, when I say, is it haunted? She went, no, nothing happens. Absolutely nothing happens. I says, really? I says, look, I thought it was really haunted. That's why I wanted it. She says, you can still book up. She says, you can still have it for the night if you want. I says, no. I says, I'm more interested in the paranormal. I don't want to stop somewhere where I'm going to have a good night's sleep. I want somewhere where my heart's going to be racing all night. You know what I mean? I want to
yeah.
be up investigating, but absolutely nothing happens at this venue. Nothing. Now, listen to this, right? All they've caught is light flare. Do you
Ooh.
understand light flare? It does look like orbs, but it's a light flare. So when you take a picture and you take a picture of the light, you get this like glow off it, like a flare. And they were saying it was a orb. And then this says that it was a little boy. And then they were saying it was a poltergeist. And then I was like, mate, this is absolutely fraudulent what you're doing. You're giving us a bad name. So because our name rang with theirs, we were getting the bad name. You know what I mean? So we were getting called frauds and fakes and stuff like that. So I went, you know what? I'm changing my name, me. I do not want to be associated with this team. It was the worst mistake I ever done was call myself Northumberland Ghost Hunters.
That is actually something that kind of similarly happened to me back when I lived back in the United States. I started my own little ghost hunting team, but then sometime like a year after I started my thing, someone else started a team, but they changed the last word of the team. So when people kind of Googled me, they also found them. So they got confused on which paranormal team was kind of mine, and they started asking me about stuff they did or stuff they said, and I'm just like, I don't. What are you talking about? And I finally had they said, look up your team name. You're going to find someone else similar to it that is trying to like run behind you. And I'm like, this is absolutely, wow, this is weird.
Yeah, man. I just, this is what I'm saying, right? When people are selling tickets for venues, saying that it's haunted, that to me is the lure of the lure. You know, at the end of the day, you're taking money out of people's pockets. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
and not only that, you're conning the public. You're conning the public, saying that these places are haunted and they're not. You know, um, it was just like I'd done the Schooner Hotel. If you Google it, it's like top 5 most hauntedest hotel in Britain.
And you're like, no.
No, I needed to try it myself, right? So you know what? I booked up. It cost £150 for the room, right? Room 28. So there was me and my team went in. So I got them all different rooms. So everyone had their own separate rooms because there was girls there too. So I wanted the girls, in one room so that they weren't alone. So and then the boys, we just split up. We went into different rooms. So I stopped in room 28. And I was like, cool, cool. My EMF reader was gone off, right? No, and then I took it away from one place and it stopped, so I put it back again. So it was electricity. I thought, fuck, I paid 150 quid for this. I hope something's gonna happen about, early, like, this was like early on in the evening. So I was hoping that was going to be going on all night. Nothing was happening. I was just lying on the bed, and I was like asking for communications. I got that bored. I fell asleep. It was the best night's sleep I've had in a long time. But it's like sleeping in that room, nothing happened. Nothing.
There is actually teams that I've heard, or people have known locations where they were invited to come as a paranormal team to go to a location to see if it's haunted, but they said to them nothing was haunted. They could tell the place was trying to make their equipment go off just so they can have a paranormal team say this place is haunted, just so they can say, oh, NGH said it's haunted, so we can see, go with him. We can charge the rates for you and have that gimmick of our place is haunted. And then when actual paranormal investigators go there, they're just like, what do they mean this place is haunted? And you find out for majority of people, we did not have anything happen, or people who thought that they had something happen might just be like one of those trick of the minds of, I'm waiting for something paranormal to happen. So you're taking any little thing into your imagination, it turns into something that might be paranormal, just so you can be like, you're looking for something paranormal.
Yep, exactly. So, like, what people normally do as well, right? They'll fake the house being haunted so that we go in, so they can say NGH has been in here. They've told me that it's haunted or it's not haunted. So people use NGH a lot for like hauntings and stuff like that. Now I've only been to two genuine house hauntings. One, honest, it was the worst one I've been in. Like I just explained the story there with the bathroom. The two, I would say, was Jack and Jill's house, and I wasn't even investigating it. That's probably the most hauntedest, two of the most hauntedest houses I've been in. Graveyards,
Mhm.
I think every graveyard's haunted. To be fair, you know, it's a resting place, isn't it, for the bodies. So of course they're gonna follow the bodies. So yeah, I really think graveyards are one of the most hauntedest places to go to. To be fair.
Yeah. It just depends on, just some are more active than others. I felt like the newer ones in America were not as active as maybe the older ones.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think it's like we've got a graveyard around here. Goes back to the Saxon times, so that's a lot of years. Most haunted. I think it's like our 100 year, very old, anyways. So there's water graves where people, from sea are buried there. So, anyways, I went there a couple of months ago, and I swear, right, nothing happened. And they were saying it was the most hauntedest graveyard. It was supposed to be the darkest graveyard, blah, blah. Nothing happened. I got one picture, and that's it. No activity. No, none of the rampers went off. None of the cat balls. Nothing.
Mhm.
Nothing went off.
Someplace I'm eager to go to that's in the UK, and I can't think of where it happened, but it was a video I did. I can't believe I can't remember what this location is, but it's where the witches were hung in the
Pent
UK.
Hill.
Yes. Pendle Hill?
Pendle Hill, that's it. Yeah.
Yes. People said yes. It's not only is it a gorgeous scenery, but they're like there's a lot of activity there. And I can
Oh,
see
yeah.
that just
Um,
because of what happened.
Yeah, because there's a lot of witchcraft and stuff that happened there as well. Um, so you got to imagine the spirits that's there.
Yeah.
There could be dangerous spirits there. That want to attach itself to you. And because I've had a spirit attachment, and it wasn't very nice. It took over my personal life. It took over my life. I was probably on stage 3 of nearly being possessed by this demon that was attached to us. And it's not nice. People say, "Oh, ghost hunting's really easy." It's not easy. It's not easy at all. You know, you can't just go into a graveyard with a flashlight and a phone. It's not all about that. It's about communications. It's about um gaining, respecting the spirits and stuff like that. You don't know what's went on in that graveyard for you to walk in and think nothing's going to happen. You don't know if there's been a Ouija boards, rituals, anything like that happening in the graveyard, and they haven't shut it down. So you know you don't know what's going to go on in graveyards.
I think there's at least some, and I'm sure there's some at the graveyard. And I've told you this. If you go to see the graveyard where they are buried, definitely do that because one of the accused witch that was hung still walks to her grave or walks around her grave. They said at night still. You could sometimes people see her, and that's just crazy there. And I think probably around there has to be probably some witchcraft going on just because of the land itself, because of what happened. Do I think the people who was hung there actually practiced witchcraft? I don't. I think it was a coincidence of someone, of this girl trying to get a coin from someone. That's how it started out, trying to get a coin or something, or a pendant from someone. And the travel salesman didn't want to sell it because people not sure if he accused her of being a witch or if she wasn't paying enough. But the pins at the time was a sign of witchcraft, and she just kind of, she being mad, cursed him, says, "I curse you." And then after that, they didn't know what happened to him then, but now obviously people look back now and they're like, he had a stroke. So that freaked her out because she's like, I didn't think this would actually work. And they took that as, because originally no one accused her of witchcraft. It was
Yeah,
just one of those weird coincidences, but she still felt bad because that timing was right after she kind of yell, "I curse you."
yeah,
And then she's still with a guilty conscience went and apologized and, "I'm sorry I put this curse on you." So that's when people overheard, and that's like, oh, this is a sign of your confession that you practice witchcraft. And
mm-hmm.
she was the first one tried. But her family, there's two families, her family and another family, were the main ones that were executed for witchcraft on that day. And it's basically two families because they were healers then. They were nature healers, like they use herbs and stuff like that. So they're both competitive with the other families. So to eliminate that family from the competition, they accuse them of witchcraft, and it's just, you can't really, then you can't really prove or disprove it. So there's just, everyone started freaking out, and that's why majority of those people were hung, that like 15 people were hung that day, that one day. And it's just mostly, it's just of families just accusing each other, just eliminate their own competition. So I think to this day, because of such traumatic events for them, that's probably why some of their spirits are still there. But
Yeah,
because obviously that's where the witch trials was, and that's where people are hung for being a witch, people still to this day feel like, I should go here and do some witchcraft. They don't know what they're doing. And this is also why I say with Halloween, why is the veil the thinnest on Halloween? It's because people feel like, because it's coming close to Halloween, they're supposed to do rituals, they're supposed to do seances. And I'm like, you don't know what you're doing. And you're
yeah.
opening portals you don't know. And that's what I realized. You're opening a portal, you don't know what you're doing. You're letting things in. This is why, that's the only reason why it's a thin is people don't know what they're doing, and they're inviting things in just because I felt like they're supposed to do all this because it's Halloween.
It must take a toll on them, like doing like rituals and stuff like that, because um, you know, you know, as they say, karma comes back tenfold. So, like, if you get hexed, right, and you know who's hexed you, and you go and see a black witch or something, and say,
Mhm.
"Can you take this hex off and send it back?" It's got to take a toll on them as well as the person that you're hexing. This, you know, so I can remember I got hexed. I got hexed when I first started ghost hunting. To be fair, as I tell you now about the team that was being fraudulent. So, anyways, this woman, she, off their team. What they try to do is they try to sabotage my team from theirs. So they
Yeah.
try to say, "Oh, can I come on your team? Can I come along for hunts and stuff like that?" Me being new to it, I didn't know who they were, you know. And I was like, "Cool, yeah, man." So, anyways, I forgot all about to tell them. So, anyways, I'd done the hunt and stuff like that, and I was getting nasty inboxes off this woman, and I started feeling full of cold. I was like, "What the hell's going on here?" You know, like I say, I was new to it, so I didn't understand what the hex was. So, anyways, I think about a week later, I end up with three beautiful mediums on my team. You know, white light, they are the absolutely fantastic people. You know, they'll do anything for you. So anyways, she turned up. They turned up for a hunt, and one of them pulled us to the side. She says, "You know you're hexed, don't you?" I says, She says, "You know you're hexed." I says, "I didn't know." She says, "Have you been loaded a cold?" I says, "Ah." She says, "Because this person wasn't powerful enough, um, she only give us a cold." So, anyways, she sent it back. Now, I don't know if it's a coincidence or not, but the lady that hexed us ended up in hospital. So I don't know if that was a coincidence or not for to get it because it was sent back. Both she ended up in hospital.
Yeah, people don't realize, unfortunately, what they're doing, and I realize that, and that's the only reason why, to me, I feel like the veil between this world and theirs is thinner, is because you're inviting them in, you're opening doorways you don't understand that you're opening, and unfortunately, people who are opening them, they don't know what they're doing. They don't, or unfortunately, it's too late. You invite something in. Now, what do? This thing is now either attached to you, or it's now enjoying their freedom and roaming the world. Because I've seen that too, where sometimes they're like, finally, I'm going through this doorway, and that now they're able to roam free.
It's just like playing a Ouija board. You're opening a different doorway, aren't you? So you're doing out what's gonna come through that doorway. You know, it's madness, isn't it?
It is, and that's what I was telling people. I wish people wouldn't mess with things they don't know, and that's sometimes why places ended up haunted. Is
Yeah.
you open a doorway you don't know.
It's like young girls when they come on the periods, they can cause poltergeist activity in the house. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Yeah, they can cause poltergeist activity in the house. I think it's something to do with the hormones and the anger and stuff like that. It can cause poltergeist activity. I didn't know that until like last year.
Hmm.
I was like I say, every day I'm learning something different. You know, like when I go into the graveyard to knock on trees because trees are life, aren't they? So spirits actually hide in them. So when you knock on them, you're freeing them. It's mad.
There is some superstitions, and I'm gonna have to look more into that for my TikTok. There is some superstitions here when it comes to, or urban legends here when it comes to trees. Like there's some spirit trees that people believe in around here too. So that's
Yeah.
always, it's an interesting thing. Then
Yeah.
obviously we also have here now around Mount Fuji is the suicide forest.
Oh yes, I've heard about that. I've seen a lot of videos on that. Now, I honest personally, I couldn't get into that woods. Like, no, I couldn't.
So here's my theory when it comes to the suicide forest is I feel like there is some kind of portal that is sucking up that energy for people to come do what they do
Uh huh.
at that location, because the weird thing with a lot of people don't realize when it comes to suicide forest is it's not the whole forest. It's only like a small part of the forest is the bad part where people do what they're obviously doing. They're
Yeah.
going in there and just and they're feeling whatever way I think is amplified by that area. But there is also a good part of that forest where it is you don't even feel that same energy. Like it's such a different feeling and energy. And people said you could just it feels more calm and peaceful and relaxing on the other part of the forest where a lot of people actually hike because it's such a beautiful and peaceful
Yeah,
place at that safer location. And people actually posted videos. Here's my relaxing hike in the forest. You can't go over there because it's
yeah.
not the good area. So there's the good area, and then there's kind of the middle area where some people say some people still commit suicide in this, but it's not as much as this area over here. So like there has
Hmm.
to be something in that little area that is making that energy, drawing that energy to you.
It's amazing what sort of things happen in words and stuff like that, because
Yeah,
it's all energy, isn't it? It's all energy that trees let off. So
yeah,
that forest alone, like you say, it could be a massive portal that's playing with people's minds, draining them, making them feel like this. So something's had to have happened in their woods. It could be, it could have been man-made, or it's just all of a sudden come from Earth, and it's God's way of taking these.
yeah. So I don't know if it's a portal there. To me, I feel like that's my theory. It's a portal, but I'm not sure if something opened it or it's always been there or if it's someone
Hmm.
decided they picked that area to just unalive themselves and they did some kind of ritual there to not be alone.
Yeah.
That's always a possibility too.
That's a possibility too. Yeah, I actually agree with you on that. Anything's a possibility now. Um, it's just absolutely madness of the hauntings that's happening now. Since I started, I've heard about at least at least I would say about 1,200 hauntings in 5 years. I think it's just there's something. It's I think it's a build up for something that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Um, I may be wrong. I don't want to get into this theory stuff and stuff like that, but I really think that it's getting me ready for something that's about to happen. To be fair,
Yeah, that's what a lot of people are saying, especially people with spiritual gift. They're just like, I think something is bigger is coming. I'm not saying religiously because some people
yeah,
isn't religious. I'm like, I grew up in the religious and I don't fully believe in the religious stuff.
yeah.
And
See,
it's like,
I've always said this: if you believe in good, you've got to believe in the devil.
yes.
Because one is against the other. It's like that. So, like when people say, "Is it an act of good?" What makes you think it's not an act of the devil? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's something like that. People don't. People say this is another thing. Religious people, they believe in the Holy Spirit, right? But they'll not believe in spirits. But it baffles me that because the Holy Spirit is a spirit, and the spirits walk the world.
Yeah.
So and they don't believe in ghosts and stuff like that. So that's why a priest will hardly come to your house, because if some don't believe, unless it's Catholic. Catholics believe in spirits, but like priests and stuff, they're like, nah, I don't believe in this sort of stuff. But they believe in the Holy Spirit. That's what I don't understand. So to believe in the Holy Spirit, you've got to believe in demons.
Mhm.
You've got to believe in spirits, but these don't. That's what it baffles me that I just don't understand it. To be fair,
Yeah, there's so much, yeah, with the Catholic on that. Fortunately, I did not grow up Catholic, so I don't know much about the Catholic religion in that. And I always admit that. I'm like, when people ask me questions about the Catholic, I'm like, I honestly wouldn't know. I never studied the Catholic because I just don't really study religions. I've been to Catholic church a couple of times just because some of my grandparents were Catholic, but I did not grow up in a Catholic church, so I can't really answer the questions. I grew up Baptist. So
yeah,
a little bit of the Baptist I can't answer, and that's also one reason why I feel like the Baptist I started going away towards going away from it just because to them is they don't really believe in ghosts. They believe like everything is a demon in disguise. And then once I
Yeah.
started learning more on my own about the paranormal, I'm just like, not everything is a demon.
Not everything's a demon, no. Definitely not. I mean, demons do walk amongst us, you know.
Yeah.
But not everything's a demon. I mean, you can get nice ghosts. I've got a poltergeist with me all the time. He's called Bert. He doesn't leave my side, and he's with us all the time. You'll see things move and stuff like that just to say I'm here. You know, but he means no harm. He means no harm. He's not attached. He's not really attached to us. He's just with us. When I went into the building, and I'd done some communications with this poltergeist that was so frustrated. It was throwing boxes at people. It was moving chairs. It would push people on the stairs, stuff like that. So the caretaker reached out to us and says, "Richie, would you like to come in?" I says, "Yes, I would love to come in." So he wouldn't communicate with the other because, like, what we're doing was I had like a team of 5. So I would say I set the first 3 up to communicate with the whatever was in the room. It wouldn't communicate with them. It wouldn't do a thing when they were there. So, anyways, I says, right, we'll swap over. You'll come downstairs. I'll go on upstairs now. So, anyways, went upstairs. I sat down and through the spirit box, Bert. I says, "Hello, Bert. Are you the one that's frustrated in this building? Are you the one that's hiding boxes and stuff?" "Yes." So I says, "Right, Bert." I says, "What's wrong with you? No one listens to us. No one communicates with us. So I'm frustrated." I says, "Right, Bert." I says, "Now I'm communicating with you. Would you like to communicate with me?" "Yes." I says, "Guess what?" I says, "Can you tell me a bit about yourself?" And he says, "I used to be a boxer." I was like, "Oh, right." I says, "Bert, I used to be a boxer." He says, "Really?" I says, "Yes, I used to be a boxer. Would you like to communicate with me?" And it was the best communications I've ever had on a ghost hunt. He was talkative. He asked him to move a pen. He moved the pen for us. Everything I was asking him to do, he was doing. And so, anyways, I left the building.
Yeah.
So I wanted, like a couple of weeks later, I ended up doing a haunted bar. So I was doing the communications, and guess who come through the spirit box? Bert. Come through. We started communicating again. I says, "Bert, you got to move out and let these communicate with me so I understand what they're going through." "No, I'm looking after you." That's exactly what he said. "I'm looking after you." So, anyways, it doesn't matter where I am in the country. I could be in Liverpool, London, anywhere like that, right? And he would come through the spirit box, Bert. So I asked the medium, like who I work with. I says, "Bert's following us. Does he mean any harm?" She went, "Nah. He's like a guardian angel to you. He's attached to you, but he doesn't want to be attached to you. But it's not an attachment. It's more of a friend looking after us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's like a guide." So every time, like the other day, I went into a graveyard just to test my equipment, and guess who come through? Bert. And I thought, you know what? It's nice to have this sort of protection in the spirit world because, he doesn't let the spirits get too close to us. So that's a good thing to be fair because I'll end up with another attachment one day.
Yeah, it is always nice once they start liking you, they really take a liking to you, and then they just kind of protect you from things you can't see. So that's always nice. That's always a nice thing to have there.
Yeah,
You definitely created that bond, probably because he's like, finally, someone who's like-minded, who was a boxer. He understands me, so I'm going to
yeah.
protect him from
It
things
was
he cannot.
amazing. It was amazing communications. He used to fight for money for to feed his family and stuff like that. So, it's amazing. It actually is amazing.
The house I own, the house I lived in before I came out to Japan, I did not choose to live in that house, basically. It's because it was the opposite of what I was looking for. But the reason why I ended up moving in there is I got this idea in my house when I first saw the pictures. I have to live there. I have to live there. And when I saw it, it came even more. And then after like when I left, the idea was more put in my head. You have to live here. That's your house. You have to live here. And it's who did that was there was the spirit of like the old lady who used to live there still because that's her house. She just
Yeah.
didn't want to move on. She's happy there. She raised her kids there. She saw her grandkids there. So she kind of put the idea in my head. This is I chose you. This is where you're gonna live. And she was definitely a southern grandmother. So because in the woods next to the house, there's always some weird evil. There's always some
Vibes.
yeah, evil spirits in there. But she kept them at bay. And anytime like, I'd go investigate and come back, any spirit, any negative spirit could not enter that house because of
Yeah.
her. Because she's like, nah, this is my house. Anything if you're in this house, it's because I approved you to be in this house.
It was like my daughter. She was, back on the day on TikTok. People would show you how to do rituals.
Yeah,
That's rituals, and kids would do it. So, anyways, I wasn't living here at the time. I was living on my own, and my girlfriend's wife says, "Richie, something's going on in the house." What happened is the daughter has done a ritual. She writ it on the wall, done the symbols and stuff, said the whatever she had to say, and she's rubbed it off the wall without shutting it down. And all we could see was Slender Man people. Like Slender Man people, faceless people, tall, dark, and white. So it was like black and white ones. So, anyways, cut a long story short, come back in. I come back living here, and with Bert being with me, we've never seen them since. And it's mad. I think he's getting rid of all that negative stuff out the house, and yeah, we normally see a woman stand at the bedroom door, or peeking around the corner quickly, but she means no harm. She used to live here, and that this was her house, and
yeah,
at the end of the day, we're trespassers in her house, you know.
yeah. They couldn't really come on property. I was safe as when I was on that property up to a certain point. Like when I got closer to the trees, that's when it's basically you better step back because there's other things in those trees and
Yeah,
that's not our property, but this property line, this is my protection, especially inside the house.
yeah,
Nothing can hurt you inside this house. I will make sure nothing negative comes in this house. So it's one of those things where we were aware of each other's existence, but she kind of stayed clear on the other side of the house.
yeah,
So it's one of those
yeah,
things where that's also why I didn't care that she was there because
yeah,
she let me do my own thing, and she's like, yes, this was originally my house, but I understand now in a physical world, this is now your house. So
yeah,
I will be on the other side of the house, let you have your space, let you do your thing, not bother you. Sometimes she would just
yeah,
watch over me when I was out in the living room, but other than that, she still kept her distance because she's out of respect, and that's what I like compared to some spirits don't move on; they still consider that them have
yeah,
no one
yeah.
living can go in there.
So it's like I could be sitting alone, in the house, no one here, and all of a sudden the hairdryer will turn on, and it's Bert saying, "I'm here, I'm still here." You're not getting rid of us. So it doesn't bother with now that Bert's here because he means no harm whatsoever. He hasn't hurt the kids, he hasn't hurt me, and he hasn't hurt my wife. So at the end of the day, he's more than welcome to stay here until that happens. You know, but I didn't really welcome him because I didn't want him thinking that he rules my house because I'm the gaffer of my house. You know what I mean? I'm the man
Yeah,
of the house, not him. It's like when people have poltergeist activity and they say, "Oh, what can I do?" Stand up to it like you would in a schoolyard bully. You know, poltergeists are just not, they're just noisy ghosts. That's all they are. It's German for noisy ghosts. So if you stand up to it, it starts fading. You know what I mean? And if you don't acknowledge it, don't be scared of it. It will fade in time, because some hauntings only, our poltergeist only last about 6 months, you know, or some cases a year. But
Yeah.
it's very rare that it can turn longer than that, But yeah, it's actually I love me ghost hunting. I love it, I'm not good at naught else, I've got ADHD, I've got autism, I've got learning difficulties, I've got PTSD and stuff like that. And to get out and experience something different, it actually is just something great, It's just something to enjoy. I look forward to me hunts.
I think there's something with autism that also makes people, for my personal experience, people with autism, somehow they're more connected to the other side. I don't know what it is, but it's more open. I just don't know if your mind is just more open or
Yeah, yeah. I think it's um. I think because your mind works more over time, you create things, in your head and stuff like that. But like, it's hard to explain because when you're having a meltdown, yeah, it feels like you can move bottles and stuff like that. So, it's like you're creating poltergeist activity, in your head. But in reality, it is happening. So, like,
yeah.
if like I say to people, if you've got a house haunting, do not communicate with it. Do not acknowledge it. You know, let it. Don't let teams in unless Do not let a team in that's been into the graveyard and called up and think that they're professional. Get someone in that knows what they're doing, knows what they're talking about. To sweep your house, to make sure that it's not electricity problem or oxygen problems or stuff like that, because that can cause hallucinations and stuff like that. Too much electricity. So you've got to do all them sweeps, and then you've got to find out the cause of why it's happened. Now you can walk into a house and you never find we'll have done a Ouija board. You never find we'll. So if they've done a Ouija board, right, and they haven't shut it down properly and they're getting activity, I just walk out. I just walk out because I'm not putting myself or my team in danger when it comes to the Ouija board. Because if
No.
anything attaches itself to it, we've got families, but we've got kids and stuff like that. And we do not want that following us home, attaching itself to one of our children and something like that. So we're not going to do that. That's why I always ask, have you played a Ouija board? If you've played a Ouija board, I just walk out.
That's one of the first things when I was younger, when I was trying to learn more about the paranormal field and investigating. That's the one thing a lot of investigators then I don't I don't feel like I don't feel like investigators now really ask that, but then that's the one thing they said that's one of the first questions you should be asking is,
Yes,
have you or anyone else in the home used a Ouija board? And
exactly.
by then, if they have used a Ouija board, more than likely, you should not investigate. That is completely something completely different. That is, they definitely opened something. That is something they just need to get someone.
People
Someone.
that play Ouija boards, uh, they have to realise that no one's an expert when it comes to Ouija boards. No one's an expert when it comes to the spirit world either. You
No,
don't know what you're inviting into your house. You know what I mean? Because as soon as you're playing that Ouija board, you're opening the door to a different dimension, you know, to the spirit world. So there could be good spirits come through, and then you get an evil one that'll not leave your house.
sometimes they act good though too, just to.
Yes, exactly. A demon will manipulate you into thinking that you're your grand or your granddad or your loved one that you loved and is in the spirit world. So they will manipulate you to think that. I'm not saying that word properly because I've got like speech problems.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I can never, for some odd reason, every time I talk about this live, I can never think of words at the time. I'm like, man, I know what this is called, but I can't think of it. Then afterwards, I'm like, oh yeah,
I'm
what
exactly the
this is
same,
called.
sweetheart. I'm actually the same. Like I say, um, I've got a hunt on Saturday. I think I was gonna cancel it because, like, I haven't been feeling myself for a couple of days, but we'll see what happens on Friday. I might just keep going on Friday, get the team together and going out on Saturday for a ghost hunt. But I don't know yet. I'll have to wait and see. So yeah, thank you very much for having us on here.
Yeah, I've been enjoying this. This was it's been we should have done this sooner, having a video to
Yeah.
video conversation.
It's always been through text, hasn't it? So it's like,
Yeah,
how are you, or something like that, So we've just been communicating through text. So it's been the first time we've ever communicated through like video
face
call.
yeah, video, definitely. No, this has been really good. We definitely need to do this more often.
Yeah, man. We should do it in a few months. Just catch up, see how things are going and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So yeah,
that would be definitely fun to do.
definitely. So thank you very much for having me
Thank
on.
Oh, thank you for coming on. I'm definitely gonna have you back on. Hopefully Irene will be on then. She is a clairvoyant, so when she's on, she
Right.
can also tell you if there's anything with you or when you start talking about spirits you encountered, she can communicate with them too. So that's always
Right.
nice to do too.
Thank you very much, Bill. I keep calling you Bella because I
No, it's like
just
yeah, I go by both because Bella was
I
what I
just like you
changed
call
so
yourself a man,
yeah,
but you really call Bella. So
that's what I tell people is it's I started off with Bella Spooky Tales on TikTok and just kind
yeah,
of
man.
certainly
I
into
look forward to your videos because I enjoy your videos. I love your stories. They're absolutely amazing.
Dolly, thank you so much. And I always tell people that you are the definition of para unity. Unfortunately, it doesn't exist. I don't feel like it exists as much today, but
Yeah,
you definitely are because you don't see it's a competition. Whatever you get evidence wise is what you get. I shouldn't compare to myself to you if I go to the same location. You might get more, I might get more, and it's gonna be a hit and miss whether we go
exactly,
somewhere or not.
exactly, sweetheart. You're very right there. I'm in competition with absolutely no one
Yeah,
apart
that's what I
from my
tell
old
people is
self. That's it.
sometimes you go to a location, you'll get a lot of evidence, and then someone afterwards didn't get as much, and it's still not a competition because they might go back and get even more. It's gonna be it's a hit and miss because spirits they still have their own personalities and they still
Yeah,
have one of those if they feel like it or not. And that's why I always say I don't understand this
absolutely.
big competition in the paranormal anymore. But you also recommend people on your TikTok to see like, yeah, this person is great. You should go see them. And
Yeah,
that's the one
man.
thing I love about you is you do
Yeah,
that compared to a lot of people are just like, I don't want anyone watching anyone else. It should just be watching me. And that should not be what it is because we're always going to get something different at every
exactly,
location.
sweetheart. Exactly. We're gonna get. Someone's gonna get something different than what you're getting. So it's no
Yes.
competition to me. I love promoting other teams because other teams going out there, they're just doing exactly the same as what we do. They might get more communications, they might get better pictures, they might get better videos. But you know
Yeah.
what? The more you encourage them, the more they do it. So that's what I'm there for. To encourage them.
It's also different energies when you go to a place because there's been times where I've gone to a location several times with several different teams. Sometimes some get some don't. It's more of a does the ghost vibe with your energy, and it might not just be you, but it might be like they don't really they look at you like, oh, I don't have anything in common with Richie, so I'm just not really gonna mess with.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't mean you're a bad person. It just means maybe they look at you and they feel like I don't really have much in common.
Yep.
There's
Exactly.
no rhyme or reason to when or why a ghost may or may not interact with someone.
Yeah, exactly. We cannot control the spirit world. We cannot control it. If we could, it would be perfect. Everyone in the world would do it. You know what I mean? Everyone. If you communicate, if you could control a spirit, good luck,
You're
isn't it?
lying if you say you can control a spirit. You're definitely lying because
Definitely, definitely.
you
But
can't.
yeah, man. Right, I'm gonna let you go, and
Okay. Yeah,
thank you so much for having us on, sweetheart. And I look forward
definitely.
to talking to you in
We'll
a
have you
couple of
on again.
months.
Yes,
Right.
I'll get back to you in maybe about another month and have you back on.
Right, no problem, sweetheart.
Okay.
Thank
All
you,
right. Thank you
Bella.
so much.
Bye bye.
Bye. All right, everyone. Thank you for joining today. I will see you next time. Thank you.